Elmer from Distant, welcome. You
Yo,
are you are a gentleman. You are a gentleman, sir. So real quick, we'll get going here. For those who don't know who Distant is, I have a huge U.S. audience, and tell them who Distant is.
uh, we're a Deathcore band from the Netherlands and Slovakia, and yeah, that's a very short summary of it.
A man of a lot of words here. You even sound like just a gentleman. I always tell people when you talk to people out from Netherlands and Slovakia, you guys are just always so kind. Even when
Oh,
you're
thank you.
upset, you're kind. And so as a deathcore artist to be this kind, I think it's great. I do want to talk about Heritage that just released on Century Media Records. And
Yes.
now the big thing that's taken over the internet at the time of recording this is you did the song with Will Ramos from Lorna Shore.
Yeah.
How did you guys make that happen?
Well, we played 60 shows with Lorna Shore last year, so
Okay.
that explains a lot, I guess.
And then that song's just a brutal song. And then you guys did another song with you had members of Elmer and Suicide Silence. And I mean, there's like 10 different artists. It'd be the entire time I take if I went down the list of everybody who
Yeah.
was on that song. Are those label mates? Are they friends that you guys have toured with? How those up and coming deathcore artists who want to get these guys
Yeah.
on their songs? How did you guys? I mean, who's bigger right now in the genre than Lorna Shore? So how did you get all of these people on a song? I mean, I know that Will's on a different song, but
Yeah.
Suicide Silence, Muir, all that. How'd you guys get that locked down?
Uh, well, it's a funny and long story actually. So, but it first started off with our previous track Argent Depth, and we released this one right at the beginning of the pandemic, and uh, basically during the pandemic we were feeling a bit sad that we couldn't hang out with our friends anymore, so we wanted to collaborate still, and we released this track Argent Depth with 5 guest vocalists on it with bands that we love to hang out with. Uh, and yeah, we really enjoyed that. So we said afterwards, okay, next time we release an album, we're gonna do this again. So first thing that we did before writing the album was starting with Argent Depth 2.0, Argent Justice. And this time we were like, okay, we're back on the road, we're touring again, we're making a lot of new friends. So the list of guest vocalists kept growing and growing because we had so many new friends that just, yeah,
On a
matched with us.
on a business sense, like in the music industry, was it hard to get everybody and their labels or management to sign off on
Oh
appearing on
yeah,
the songs? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. It's a pain in the ass. It
Right.
was literally a year of work. We had to talk with all the labels and ask their permission if we could use their logos in the streaming video, if we could use their permission on Spotify, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Takes ages.
now you guys are heading to the States. You're going to be touring with Bodysnatcher for a month. Have you toured the States before? Have you been here before?
Yeah, so we've been to the States for the first time last year,
Okay.
uh, but unfortunately, only 2 of the 5 members could make it because the visa process is really such a pain. But now it seems like almost all of us got the visas. There's just one guitarist left that will have his interview on the day that we leave to the US. So probably he will still be a bit late, but besides that, we already got 4 out of 5 members that got the visas confirmed this time.
So when you guys came last time and you only had two of you guys allowed in, because the visa, anytime you travel, the visas, I mean, they can reject you for no reason at
Yeah,
all. What did you guys end up doing? When you
we,
only had two
it
members.
was it was really last minute changes. Like the vocalist and the drummer, they got their visas like 3 days before their flights or something. So that means that two members could fly in, and the others we couldn't get our visas in time. Like the waiting time at the embassy for an interview was in the end 250 days. So or visas got scheduled or appointments got scheduled half year after the tour.
Right.
So in the end, only those two guys flew in. We had to get a fill-in guitarist. We trained him in 3 days, and
Wow.
we did the tour as a three-piece.
Okay. Now, you guys had the Bodysnatcher tour. We released a new album. We released Heritage. What else do you guys have coming up this year?
We're continuously grinding on new stuff, and yeah, so we wrote a lot of music still. So there's music coming. Of course, we just released the album, so don't expect too fancy things in the near future. But we're working now on a lot of like add-ons basically to the album. So we have a live version of a song coming. There's some remixes and some other cool things related to the album.
Will you guys be doing a lot of touring after the Bodysnatcher tour?
Yeah, this whole year is fully booked. So after the Bodysnatcher tour, we got the Europe tour headliner, the first one. Then we have the festival season. Then there's another USA tour, and then there's another Europe tour.
Okay. Have you ever been to Nashville before?
Well, I've never been in the USA myself.
Okay. All right.
So it's gonna be a fun experience, but the band has been last year. Okay.
Well, you guys are playing you guys have sold it out. You guys are playing a venue in Nashville called The End, which is like a legendary place. It smells like urine, vomit, and beer. You know, so it's a good venue for this type of show. Okay. Now, just like Bodysnatcher, you guys embrace the deathcore genre, where a lot of people seem to run from it and say, "No, we're not deathcore," and you're deathcore. Have you guys why did you guys embrace it? First question, and the second question is, have you had any pushback from people who? Because there's some of the gatekeepers out there who the deathcore genre is lame now, or, it's teeny bopper stuff. So have the gatekeepers messed with you guys at all because of you guys embracing the genre of deathcore?
Oh, actually not.
Okay.
Well, it's always those, of course, it's always those internet trolls, but screw them. But you're right, when we started as a band, we directly focused on outside of the Netherlands, because the scene for deathcore was non-existent, or people would only go to the big bands. So, and we really love deathcore, so we just want to play that music. And I guess once you get going and you just keep doing what you like, then eventually people will start seeing that you just do what you like. And they support that. And I guess that's the point where we are now. We're just doing, really things that we love. We're trying to express ourselves in the music, in the art, and people support us in that way. It doesn't matter if you're deathcore or death metal or whatever.
Right.
So actually, we got a lot of support.
Now, you guys are with Century Media. How did that come about? How did that relationship come about for you guys? Because they're the best when it comes to this genre of music. How did you guys, being out in the Netherlands, how did they find you guys?
Yeah. Also, just grinding really hard. So we've been with Unique Leader for a while, and we actually became one of the biggest bands on Unique Leader. Started touring a lot after the pandemic, and then Century Media picked up interest on us, came to a lot of our shows in London, in Berlin, and we talked with them for a while, and also got to an agreement with Unique Leader about leaving them and seeing what's best for the band in general. And this is how we got to terms with Century Media.
Now, is that how you guys were able to tour with Lorna Shore because of the label mate situation?
No, actually not. I think that happened afterwards. So
Okay.
Century Media got to our show also with Lorna Shore, and uh, I there was no involvement of Lorna Shore on this deal.
Okay. Now, just got like two more for you, and then I'll let you go. What advice would you give to those up and coming guitar players, bands? You know, because you guys are the Bodysnatcher tour is pretty much sold out all across the country. You guys have over 300,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, which is massive.
Yeah.
You know, without being a household name or a legacy artist or whatever. What advice would you give? I mean, being in the Netherlands, coming to the States, like I mean, these days being an artist is a worldwide operation. So
Yeah.
what advice would you give? What have you learned through this process? Because the band's been around for a few years now. What have you learned that you'd want to share? I guess it's music business school with Elmer right now. What have you learned?
There's a lot to learn, and actually, it surprises me like how many artists don't tell you about what's there to learn, and you have to figure everything out yourself. And that's really crazy because every band has to do the same kind of stuff. So
Right.
actually, I'm setting up this management course where to teach bands or people how to run your band. I'm doing this together with Nikolai from Cabal, who was also a big upcoming artist.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're really interested in this kind of stuff, go follow me and you will see it coming up soon. But some of the tips like related to this is that you have to, if you want your band to become successful and bigger, then you need to find people that have really the same ambitions and goals. If you don't have the same near-term or end goals, then you won't get there, because eventually the other band members, their goals will conflict with your personal goals. And if you don't match, then yeah, it's just gonna end up nowhere.
When will you be launching that program?
It's scheduled to release like within a month now.
Okay. Well, I'd love to bring you guys back. I'd love to bring you back on where we can just talk all about that for the whole interview. Because I have a lot of people who follow the podcast and everything are up and coming artists, aspiring.
Yeah.
Maybe they're doing the weekend things right now. And then my last question for you, and then before you give the plugs on where they can meet you and all this stuff, is what got you into metal and deathcore and all that? Like, who was the artist that kind of just set it all up for you?
I was listening a lot to death metal back in like 2005, something like that. And then I went to a Behemoth show in 2007 in the Baruch, Rotterdam. And the support act was Suicide Silence. And I was like, what the fuck is happening over here? This is like the craziest band ever. And from that moment on, I was like hooked into deathcore. And now the funny thing is that it all came back last week when we played that same venue. We sold it out. It's our hometown show, and it's like big circle.
Well, how can people find out more about Distant? How can they contact you guys? Do you have a name for your music program yet? Or can you not release it?
Oh yeah, that's called Arachnid Data Management Systems. And you can just contact me on Facebook or Instagram, Elmer Maurits. And you can also just follow Distant on any platform. If you write us a message, I probably reply within a minute or something. We're always trying to help everyone out, and you can ask us really anything.
I know firsthand, I can vouch that he does respond very quickly to emails, and I appreciate that. We'll hopefully I'll see you in Nashville, and if we do, maybe we'll get some we can do some YouTube shorts or something like that with you guys and give you some love. The album Heritage, I mean, from the intro in the beginning all the way through, man, it's a great album. You guys should be very proud. I think it's going through your whole discography when Chris actually brought me the attention of you guys. Just listen through the whole discography, and it just seems like the band just gets better and better with every single release or every album release. And that's what you want. You don't want to peak after your first album or your first EP. So thank you for your time. For those who don't know, we had a little bit of a time zone screw up on my end, and Elmer was a champ and he came through, and I promised him it would be quick, and we'll bring you back and do a longer, more extensive interview that will get the time zones properly worked out on my end. For all you Americans, I did look like a stupid American to him today, so that was my fault. But congratulations on the new release, Heritage, and safe travels on the road. And I hope to see you in Nashville in a couple of weeks.
Yes, thank you very much, and see you there.